Alright, so I gotta do it. I gotta talk about inFAMOUS and Prototype. And before I go on, I do want to say, yeah, I did read the inFAMOUS versus Prototype article on Detoid. And I don't give a fuck what that guy thinks, man. Honestly, the article was really funny. I fucking laughed my ass off. And I agreed with a lot of the shit that he said, but you know what? He's coming at that from a certain point of view. The article was really funny, but that's what the article was a fucking joke. When it boils down to it, for real, Prototype, comparing Prototype and inFAMOUS, you can do it on a surface level. Yeah, they're both superheroes, they're both open world games, but they really are very different. For instance, inFAMOUS is pretty much a shooting game. It's a shooter with, open world and RPG elements in it and platforming. So it's a lot different than Prototype, which is basically just a brawler. The platforming in Prototype isn't really a huge part of the gameplay. Like getting around buildings and over buildings, buildings become more of like an obstacle to you in Prototype, whereas in inFAMOUS, climbing a building is really, really fun and exploring all the different parts of the world, especially because the world in inFAMOUS is a lot more detailed. The graphics are much better, it's way more polished. The architecture of the buildings in inFAMOUS is very intricate, and the place is wrecked. It's a very artistic game, whereas Prototype, the buildings are very flat. Yeah, you can run straight up a fucking building. The building is fucking flat as a fucking... It's like the building is made out of fucking 4 fucking polygons or 6 polygons. Of course, you can, the shit is fucking flat. So, visually, Prototype lacks the depth that inFAMOUS does. There are, some comparable things like the number of, upgrades you get and shit. Prototype, you do have a lot more upgrades. There's a higher variety of power, but that's to be expected because, in Prototype, your character is a shapeshifter. So if they didn't have more powers, that would be kind of fucking embarrassing, considering inFAMOUS, the character's powers based on one concept, and that's electricity. So that makes fucking perfect sense. Prototype is a brawler. Again, I want to remind you guys, I have both fucking games, so I have both games, I can fucking talk about it. This isn't, inFAMOUS, it would be more fair to compare inFAMOUS to, like, Uncharted, and Prototype to, some other brawler. Maybe, like, you compare it to God of War, kind of, if you could get over the open world versus linear levels design. But anyway, it's just fucking bullshit nagging from the 360 kids because they don't have a choice. All they got was Prototype, and the Metascore for Prototype on the 360 is 81, and the Metascore for Prototype on the PS3 is 84. Oh, and the Metascore for inFAMOUS is 85. So, really, who's the winner? The Trey Brotherhood. That's who the winner is. Because we don't have to fucking argue that Prototype is better. Fuck, even if you have a PS3 and you think that Prototype is better, great. At least we fucking have the better version of Prototype, apparently, and you still have the option of picking up inFAMOUS. Shit, yeah, I don't think either one of them suck. I want to get that straight. Both of these games are great games. inFAMOUS, like I said, I think is better. But Prototype is fucking awesome too. Prototype is a fucking awesome game. It's one of the goriest games ever. It might even be the goriest game. I mean, this shit's crazy. It's kind of like comparing Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. And yeah, this would be Street Fighter, and this would be Mortal Kombat. So hopefully you guys can understand what I'm saying. But really, when you look deeper into it, the games are very different. The graphics, the acting, the presentation, platforming, shooting, that's what inFAMOUS is about. Prototype is about making a spectacle. It's about, causing a bloodbath. That's what it's about. There's no shooting in Prototype. All the shooting is done with auto-targeting, pretty much, except for when you manually target. But there's no point in that if you can just fucking automatically target shit, so of course everybody's gonna use the auto target, so no, it's not a fucking shooter. Whereas in Infamous, it's definitely a shooting game. Also, you know, in Prototype, you have to switch between your powers in Prototype. In Infamous, there's no switching between your powers. Cole's actions are flawlessly integrated into the control scheme of the game. Every move is fluid and, you know, has very few key presses to get to. Everything's available all at once. Cole can use any of his powers, jump, throw a grenade, shoot a bomb, you know, do whatever, no matter what he's doing, no matter what he's hanging from. You could be jumping from building to building, grinding on a power line, doing all kinds, doesn't matter what, you're always free to act in Infamous. In Prototype, the moves are a little more restrictive, but they are both great games. And if you have a PS3, fucking, you are hooked the fuck up because you have access to both of them. If you have a 360, you got dicked out of a great game. Pick up this one, you might as well. But if you got a tray, you're set. Peace.